Hi guys, so I'm here today to do my birthday book haul. Now I actually was only gifted 3 books for my birthday. Not that that's in any way a complaint, but I also treated myself to 5 books for my birthday because isn't that what we all do? Look for excuses to buy ourselves books. So I thought I'd bung them all together and show them to you in this video. But without further ado, let's get into the books, shall we? I'll start with the book that I'm kind of considering a gift from my grandmother, although I did pick it for myself. But I went to visit her when I was at home in Edinburgh and she very kindly gave me some money for my birthday. And something my dad and I always do when we go to visit my granny is we go to all the charity shops in Linlithgow, which is a little town in Scotland near my granny, and we hunt for books. And I managed to find this book this time when I was in there, and that is The Passion by Jeanette Winterson. And I actually mentioned in a recent haul that I want to read more Jeanette Winterson because I adored the 3 books that I read by her last year. So when I saw this for, I think it was £1, I had to snatch it up. And I think this cover is really kind of like weird, but in a good way. It's obviously an older edition. This one was published in 1996, so I had to snatch it up because it's also in fantastic condition, and I did mainly pick it up because it's Jeanette Winterson, so I'm not terribly sure what it's about. The back says, "What you risk reveals what you value. How is it that one day life is orderly and you're content? A little cynical perhaps, but on the whole just so. Then, without warning, you find the solid floor is a trapdoor and you are now in another place whose geography is uncertain and whose customs are strange." It might actually be, from the looks of it, short stories or a few stories that are being told by one character. I'm not sure, but it's super short and I love Jeanette Winterson's prose, so I will obviously inform you more on the topic once I've read it. But like I said, I did get 3 books as gifts from other people, and 2 of them were from my lovely friend Jen, from Jen Campbell. And the first one is non-fiction. It's Bad News, Last Journalists in a Dictatorship by Anjan Sudaram. From what I gather, this is about the journalist's experience learning about the Rwandan genocide and journalism in Rwanda at the time and afterwards, and the UN's interaction with journalism, and basically the lack of coverage and the lack of attempts to tackle what was going on in Rwanda after the genocide. That's purely going on the back and a little bit that Jen's told me about it though. She did say that she really enjoyed this one. It sounds like it's up my street, so I fully trust her and I'm really looking forward to reading this. And it wouldn't be Jen if she didn't also gift me a poetry collection. She also gave me Sunshine by Melissa Lee Houghton. This was shortlisted for the Costa Poetry Book Award in 2016, and Jen has been raving about Melissa Lee Houghton for ages actually. She raved about her other collection as well, and I've yet to read any of her stuff, so now I have no excuse because I have this one. It was shortlisted for the Costa Prize, and this sentence on the back just sounds like perfection. Sunshine combines acute social observation with dark, surreal humour, born of first-hand experience. So definitely willing to give this one a shot. I was also gifted a book by Simon over at Savage Reads, and that is The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon, and I've just heard people rave and rave and rave about this book. Everybody seems to adore it. I get the impression that it's quite a quiet book set in a village in England in the 1970s during a heat wave, and perhaps something happens and it's a bit of a mystery, maybe like a sort of crime mystery rural type story that explores the relationships between the characters. Hoping that was right. Again, I haven't read it and I'm just going on what I've heard people say and the back, which doesn't give much away. I believe the 2 main characters are 2 10-year-old girls as well, called Grace and Tilly. I then picked myself up as a treat for my birthday 4 comic book volumes. I have been really feeling like I want to read a few more comics recently, and I just thought, hey, it's my birthday month, I'm gonna treat myself. And so first up I have Paper Girls Volume 2. You will have seen me mention Paper Girls Volume 1 as I read it really recently, and I had to snatch the sequel once I finished the first one because it left on quite the cliffhanger and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is set in the 1980s and it's a kind of science fiction graphic novel set in the USA, and it follows a group of 4 paper delivery girls as something strange lands in their little town. So I am so excited to see what happens in volume 2. I then have volume 2 of I Hate Fairyland. I read the single issues that made up volume 1 of this in 2016, and I've been meaning to pick up volume 2 since then because this is hilarious. It follows our protagonist, who is a little girl who wishes to go to Fairyland, and lucky her, she gets to go. But unlike all of the other children that go to Fairyland, she fails in her quest to leave Fairyland, and it takes her decades. So she is essentially now a woman in her 30s in the body of a child, and she has wanted to go home all this time, so she has been building up a lot of aggression, and the images and the colours are just perfect. It's got all this colourful madness going on, but it's like weirdly violent. It's really good. I then picked myself up one of the comic books in the Uncanny X-Men series, and this is the first volume of the Uncanny X-Men Superior series, Survival of the Fittest, and I'm a massive X-Men fan. I read a few different comic book tangents over the year. It's such an expansive universe and series, and I've not read one in a while, and I thought, I'm just gonna pick one up at random, and I picked this one up. Unfortunately, I've read this one and wasn't that impressed by it. It follows, I wouldn't say bad X-Men, but it follows the X-Men who are often antagonists in other X-Men series, so Magneto and some of Magneto's pals, but I don't know, it just fell a little bit flat, and I was looking at the reviews on Goodreads and that seems to be the general consensus. So if you're looking to get into X-Men, there are so many kind of first volumes in series to try. This isn't one that I would recommend really. But lastly, I have what is kind of a comic book compilation graphic novel type thing, and that is Love is Love. And this is a comic book anthology to benefit the survivors of the Orlando Pulse shooting, which was the homophobic hate attack in Orlando that resulted in many deaths last year. I'm sure you're all aware of it, and this was created in memory of that event, and it is basically just a comic book anthology of stories about LGBT plus characters. And I wanted to pick this one up after I met up with Ellie and Holly, who have YouTube channels, and Holly's flatmate as well, who recommended this when we were in Forbidden Planet, and I kept it in the back of my mind and thought, yeah, I'm going to pick that up, and I'm really pleased that I have. I've read a couple of the little pieces in it, but haven't really delved into it yet, so I'm looking forward to doing that. But those are all the books I wanted to show you in this video. I'm sure in no time I'll have an April book haul coming your way, but until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and happy reading. I'll see you all again soon. Bye!